everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do my most surprising read. So I thought about this the other night. I'm like, there are some books that I've really read that has surprised me, and these are in a good way. Now, this could be taken a lot of different ways. To me, when books are surprising, are books that I go into expecting to maybe I'll enjoy it. I'm not expecting to give it 5 or 6 or whatever stars. I'm expecting to be kind of the middle of the road. These books are books I've given 5 stars that I had kind of no expectations going into them. They surprised me to the core. That is what those books are. So these books today, they're not going to be from any authors that I've loved and adored, because if I've read a book by an author that I've given 5 stars to, I kind of already when I read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, I go into it expecting it to be a 5 star. When I read an Emily Henry book, I go into it expecting a 5 star. You know what I'm saying? You already get those caveats in your mind. Sometimes you'll pick a book up that everyone on BookTube, Book Talk, Bookstagram hates, so you're like, oh, probably not like it either. But these are books today, all about books that I've picked up that I expected to like. I did not expect to fall madly in love with. So that is what I mean by surprising. So there's a lot of them, honestly, that I was looking back and I was like, I'm not going to have a long list. And I did have a long list. So let's get into it. So I want to talk about probably my favorite book of the entire year. If you would have told me that this would probably be my favorite book of the entire year when I started it, I would have laughed in your face. But now I'm like, what? I should have known. And that is Wild Dark Shore, Charlotte Monahay. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I read this because the plot sounded interesting, the cover intrigued me, and it was short. That was the 3 main things. I had heard a couple people talk about it. It wasn't blowing up or anything, but I was like, I can try it. It's how many pages is this book? This should show you too how writing really affects you. It's literally 296 pages. And yet I was obsessed with it. I emotionally packed. Now I see this everywhere. Amazon's putting it in the #1, and I'm not surprised. Usually I'm not one to follow the herd with the #1 pick for Amazon or stuff like that. But freaking A, put me on the train for this because I am here for it. This surprised me immensely. This book is hard to explain. So we have the Salt family who live on this island. I forget where exactly it is. Oh, not far from Antarctica. And basically what's on this island is a lighthouse and a lot of research kind of camps, if you will. They are the only people there at the lighthouse. They're kind of in charge of the island and keeping up with it, and also in charge of the seed bank, because the seed bank is closing because sadly the ocean is going to overtake this island very, very soon. And so they are in charge of the seed bank to get everything ready. And they have to pick which seeds are going to be meant to taken out, because they can't take everything out. And then basically one day they see a woman wash ashore, and somehow she's still alive, and she's mysterious. She's there for mysterious reasons. You get everything. It's mystery tied into it. But the book is all about nature and the beauty and the severity of it, also with global warming and things like that. Also, the daughter. There's a whole bunch of animals that live on this island, penguins that come to breed every year, albatrosses and things like that. Also seals. The daughter's really invested with the seals. She swims with them. She sleeps on the beach with them. I fell in love hardcore with this book. I don't think if I would have read this 5 years ago, I would have loved it as much. But I think now, as I've really turned to nature and bird watching and animal appreciation and flower gardening, that's why I think it resonated with me so deeply. So this shocked me and surprised me to my core. I was very, very surprised, and I loved it, but man, ate it up. One that surprised me, obviously all of these are The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I read this one mainly because I was hearing a lot of people talk about it and how it was a drama-filled ice skating book, and I was like, that sounds intriguing to me. I don't like to ice skate, but I love to read about it, and I love reading about sports and stuff like that. So I decided to listen to it, because a lot of people said the audiobook was great because it's full cast. Whenever I hear a book has a full cast for audio, I'm always drawn to it. And so I freaking ate this up. This one is controversial. A lot of people do not like this one, and I can understand why. It is literally a WB Drama Fest 2003, just amplified. It is just, all these characters are horrible. They're all horrible. They're all dumb, kind of, you see them as teenagers and then grow up and they're still kind of dicks. But I freaking ate it up. I ate it up. The audiobook was amazing. So this book follows Katerina Shaw, and basically at the beginning of the book, it's a documentary about her life and how she went to the Olympics and something really tragic happened, and something really dramatic and controversial happened. And so she's kind of telling her story, and then you're also getting the documentary going alongside of it. So it's all about her journey. She also has Heath Rocha, who is her like longtime love of her life, but also, I mean, like, this is just drama. It's like if you combine Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, what are some other drama ones that I can think of? Like Everwood, maybe. What are some other drama ones? But then put ice skating in it, it's that one. Like, it's just so drama filled. But I, as a avid fan of like late 90s, early 2000s WB shows, ate this up like freight and can. Ate this up like candy, okay? If you read this, the audiobook is the only way to go. But I was very surprised. I loved it. I expected to have like a good time with it, not fall head over heels for it, because everyone's horrible at it. Next one that very much surprised me is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. You can also see that all the books I picked up that have surprised me, I've been influenced by social media, people talking about it. This is one of them as well. I'm not gonna lie, the cover intrigued me because the cover is amazing, and it sounded okay. It didn't sound like something that was like, this is gonna be a 5-star, I'm gonna read this and obsess with it and love it. It sounded like just kind of a good, like, funny literary fiction time, which I'm always down for. So this book is about a character named Phoebe, who Phoebe, poor girl, is going through it at the beginning of this book. Her husband surprises her with a divorce, and she's also really not happy with her job. And so she's like, you know what? Forget it. I am going to go to this hotel that my husband and I always really wanted to go to in Rhode Island. That's very much expensive. And she's going to do something there. I don't want to, it's like trigger warnings. I feel like I should tell you, but I feel like it doesn't. Anyway, she goes there to do something. And she's met by a whole bridal party there. She is literally the only person not involved in this bridal party because everyone staying in the hotel is there for a wedding. The bride overhears her plans for doing what she's going to do, and she's like, you are not crapping up my wedding, okay? And basically her and Phoebe develop a relationship. These characters are flawed as mess, but this was very enjoyable. It was funny while also deeply serious, and I really enjoyed it. The romance also was a very surprising element to me, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books I read last year. And I don't think I would have picked this up without like being influenced, but I'm so glad I did because I loved it so, so deeply. I'm going to talk about two romances really quickly that I was very surprised of. First up, The Wall of Winnipeg by Mariana Zapata. I've heard about Mariana Zapata and always people were talking about this book. I thought I would check her out. Didn't expect to fall in love with it. Fell in love with it. I will say I have read 2 other Mariana Zapata books, and nothing lives up to this one for me, honestly, but I ate it up. This is a slow burn book. Like, this is almost 500 pages, which is very long for an adult romance, but I was invested into it. So this book follows a character named Vanessa, who is an assistant to Aiden, and he is a famous football guy. I don't know what don't ask me what position he plays. I have no freaking clue. But she's just been tired of being treated coldly and not fairly by him. So she's like, you know what? I quit. And then a week later, he shows up and he's like, hey, my green card is like expired and I can't play football here anymore. Like, I need you to marry me so I can stay in the States. I'll pay off your college education. Just, you know, she's like, that's too good to be true. So it's a slow burn romance of like them becoming like boss versus employee, then acquaintances, then like fake husband and wife, then friends, and then more. I loved it so deeply. Was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but I ate it up. Next up is Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is the, I want to say it's either the 4th or 5th book in her Chestnut Springs series, and I've liked all the Chestnut Springs books. There's been one that I haven't loved, and I still need to finish the series, honestly. I need to read one more, but I went into this one thinking I would not like it at all. I just really didn't, because the character that it's about, Winter, she was just very cold with the name Winter. I'm sorry. So I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did, because I was like, she's too cold, it's not a good romance, but oh my gosh, favorite of the series by far. Was not expecting to love it as much as I did. It's about Winter, and she hooks up with cowboy rodeo guy, bull rider Theo, and things happen, and I loved it so much. Was not expecting to love as much as I did, but it was such a pleasant surprise that I like I said, I loved it. I know we're in the middle of summer, but I read a fall one last fall that I was just going to read because the cover. I'm not going to lie to you, the cover drew me in. But it ended up being one of my favorite books of the year, which I was so surprised by. And that is A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney. I don't hear anybody talk about this book, which is a shame because, again, the cover is everything. This is a very quiet book. I have been known to like quiet books, okay? I've been known to like a lot of drama-filled books, but I also like a good quiet book, okay? This is about a character named Hecate who is a hedge witch, and it's all about her kind of her daily life. Basically, her sisters, like, you have a certain birthday coming up and you have to say that you're going to be a hedge witch, and then a guy shows up from her past, and it sounds kind of convoluted, but it's not. It's really about her day-to-day, about her cooking, about cleaning, about making her kind of kitchen witch stuff. But I don't know why. I loved it. It's a small town. It's near Halloween. They do Halloween fall things. I am a sucker for any of those things. So I love this one. Like, sometimes when I read a book, I give it 5 stars, and I know without a doubt in my mind, in my gut, that it's a 5-star, but I can't explain to you why. It's in my gut. It's a 5-star, and this is one of those books. Weird, I know, but that's just how I feel. The next two I want to talk about are some fantasy ones that I was not expecting to love. We have The Inheritance of Orita Deetta by Orita. I read this one, I think 5 years ago now, and I loved it. It was on like that was the one year I stuck with my challenge, my 20 books I wanted to read in 2020, and this was on there. I put it there on a whim because I heard a few things about it, but I ended up loving it so much. This is another type of quiet book where it's more about character development, day-to-day things like that. So this is all about the Montoyas, who they have the matriarch of their family, Orita Deetta, and she lives in her house and doesn't really go out much. And then they all get an invitation to her funeral. And so they go there to her house where she's going to pass away. And then after that happens, they kind of notice a curse upon them. So they're all kind of magical, and they think things are happening to them. People are after them. And it's just a beautiful book. It just says, it's sending homage to the power of ancestors and the legacy they leave behind. A spellbinding tale of magic is woven across generations. So I agree with that. I love this one so much. Not a lot of people talk about it. I don't know why, because it's an amazing book. Then I have Wayward, which I read a couple years ago. I'm not going to lie. Again, the cover intrigued me. We all judge a book by its cover. Let's be real here. We do. So this one is 3 different timelines, 2019, 1619, and 1942. All these women are kind of going through really difficult things in their life, and basically they kind of learn that they maybe have some magic in them, and they're all drawn to this place called Wayward Cottage, and you kind of get it from there. It is very short, but it packed an emotional punch for me. I loved it. It's great. I wish I would have loved her one this year called The Sirens, but sadly I didn't. But I still really enjoyed this one. And I think that's it. There are more books that I would classify surprising reads, but that's just the main ones that I think about when I think about ones that just really surprised me by how much I love them. So I would love to know if you've read any of these. Would you count them as surprising or things like that? Just let me know what books you've also read that really surprised you as well. I would love to know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.